Hi.
¿Qué
What's up?
pasó?
Yay, we're live. Okay,
What's
cool.
up?
What's up? What's up? So welcome everybody. I have the right mic this time. At least I think I do.
Yes, you
No.
sound good today.
Well, I sound good, but I'm sick, so I sound very nasally because I'm sick. As um, uh, Chris, you pointed out it could be COVID. I took a test that said no COVID, but those tests don't always tell the truth. So
It's probably not. We're gonna go. With
it's
that.
probably not. I'm going with no COVID. I'm going with just
Just tell
a
everybody
really
you're
bad
doing
cold.
it. You're doing an impression of a whiny noble.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Very fitting.
Yeah, exactly. So if I start to mute or hack my lungs up in the middle of this, I apologize, but actually not sorry. I'm sick. So it is what it is. So with that being said, I am not drinking tonight. So just water for me. To try to kick this thing. So
I think we're all on water today, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. So it's gonna be one of those. So anyway, let's jump right in. So welcome to season 6, episode 3. This is 120th episode since we
Wow.
started this shindig. And a couple of things, announcements. No new patron, but Radagast Forgiven did upgrade. So
Ooh, thanks.
I
All
give
right.
the shout outs to
Thank you.
upgrade because upgrades to Patreon level is amazing. So we like new patrons, but also it means a lot when someone just joins at the $1 level, then ups it because they just want to support us more.
Yeah,
It
it's
you
almost cooler.
like us. You really
Yeah.
like us.
you really like us. Yeah.
Why I don't know, but woo.
Yeah. As far as other things go, I know I meant to mention this last time because Ian wanted me to, and I forgot completely because I was scrambling. But since we moved to the YouTube format, we still do our break in the middle, like a 10-minute intermission. And right now I just have like a filler video and I play some music behind it. But if anybody wants to submit something, whether it's just like them doing a song, or I think Ian mentioned like some artist maybe doing some art, and you want to submit like a video for us to play during that, we're happy to like plug
that'd be
other
dope.
things
I think that'd
in
be pretty
there.
awesome.
Yeah, or you can
Yeah,
just make
plug something.
or if I get time, which is very limited, I can make like little fake commercials or something like that, and just something fun. I don't know.
A magic trick.
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna move
That'd be
myself
pretty
around.
cool.
Yeah. So something to think about. Yeah.
And if
And
there's other content creators that just want to plug something and like run a ad for their shit in our break, I mean, why not?
sure,
Go for it.
Yeah. we'll do it.
Send it.
Yeah. Send a video, or if you don't have a way to make a video, just let me know. I might be able to figure out something. I can let you use a Zoom and I'll record you or do something. We can figure it out. So yeah. Good deal. So other things, I like to give like statistics. We did hit 225,000 downloads. So
Wow.
actually we blew past that number on our way to 250. Yeah. So 225,000 downloads. So yeah, pretty big number. Excited about that. Never thought that a single person would download or listen to us. So thank you.
That's a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been good. So anything else from you guys before we kind of just dive right in? Because I kind of want to get into these chapters.
Ian, how's your personal life?
Oh yeah, we get to personal life. That's right. I'm sick, guys. Thank you for keeping
We got you.
Alan's sick and trying to get by. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did I tell y'all I got a what a deal on a used car for Ryder?
No.
So, first of all, as I go to the
Ryder
story,
can drive. How old are you?
jeez, he's 17 and he's not my oldest. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So never thought I would be thankful for drug addicts, but I've been kind of scouring Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, specifically looking for certain types of cars that I know are good quality as far as like engine, transmission, but maybe have other things wrong with it that I know I can easily fix, to try and get some at a good deal that I could kind of fix up, whatever. There was a Honda Fit with like 150,000 miles on it. and dude wanted 2,000, and then literally in the same day he posted it, he scratched 2,000 and said 1,800, and I was like, oh, he's trying to sell it today. So I went and looked at it, and
I gave you tree fitty.
he's sitting there. He's like, man, it's a good car. It's a good car. You got to buy this car, man. Just, you got cash? You got cash though? Because I'm trying to sell it today. And like, he's all, man, I know he's trying to get some money for something. Anyways, double checked it. Like his ID, and he had the title in hand and everything looked legit. We went to the bank to get the notary and everything like that. I lowballed him like way under the 1,800. So I got a Honda Fit, which is same engine transmission as like the Civic, 150,000 miles for under $1,500.
That car will go another 200,000 as long as you take care of it and fix it up.
The key with those years is if the transmission is still doing fine right now, you probably got one of the good ones that'll take you to 250 or 300. Like by the 150, 175 mark, if they're going to have issues, if it's one of the lemons, you'll know it already, and it runs great. So I got a short list of things to fix up on it. Did half of it today. I do have to replace AC compressor, and while I'm in there, I'm just going to replace all the components for the AC. But
yeah,
I've done that job before in a couple cars. It's not horrible once you know what you're doing.
Hondas and Toyotas will run pretty much forever. Surprisingly, my wife's old Chevy Tahoe had 250,000 miles on it. I think 260,000. Engine still ran great. Everything else was falling apart on it, but the engine ran great. The transmission was fine. Everything was fine. Just all electronic, like the dashboard, the speedometer, the all those, all the gauges.
Guess how fast you're going.
None of those worked. Like the air conditioning sometimes blew cold, sometimes it blew hot. It just was it's all that stuff. All that stuff was good bad, but the engine itself ran like a champ. Tons of miles on it. So,
but he lucked out with everything I saved. I dropped like another 600 in new stereo, backup camera, swapping out the speakers. I'm not going to run an amp. We're not trying to get him thumping going along, but it's going to sound nice. And he'll have the safety features of the hands-free and all that jazz in the backup camera. So,
isn't that what you did with the Cream Supreme though? Like the first thing you did was put a sound system in that thing.
That was different. I put in a massive amp in.
He's like, I'm a father.
So it was just a single 12-inch subwoofer, but it was the hatchback. So like that's all you needed. I mean, it would rattle the whole car.
That was in the Tempo, right?
No. That was in the
Mustang. Okay.
The Tempo, if I'd have put a subwoofer in that, it'd have fell apart. I mean, it was already falling apart. If we would have vibrated it, shit would have fell off.
If you sneeze too loud, the thing fell off the car.
Yeah, that thing was rough.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what I've been working on the last couple of days.
That's pretty cool.
How about you, Chris? What's going on in personal life?
I found my suit for my wedding. I went to Atlanta and then went to 12 different shops, and it was like no go. And so I ended up with a custom suit, which is gonna look really dope. Okay. But when you're looking for suits for people my size, you kind of get stuck with the bottom of the barrel, like blue or black. Which one do you want? 2-button, 3-button. Which one do you want? You can literally, I have that in my closet. I'm not going to spend more money on a new one. And Chanel's like, none of that's going to work. I'm like, well, looks like we're getting one custom made. So it looks like we will be in the hole an extra month or two.
Well, so I don't know if you've already committed to anybody, but another advantage of the hipster movement is you got all these people out there that like to be crafty and learning skills like that. And there are a lot of shops that have popped up even in Richmond that do custom tailoring, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
So unless you're trying to go like some fancy, well-known brand or person that's been around forever, you can get a decent custom suit. I say custom's the way to go. Unless there's a brand that fits you so close, it only takes a couple of tweaks at the tailor. You might as well just get it made for your body.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Fits way better.
Yeah.
Well, I have to look into that for some extra stuff, but this one is committed already, and it was a tailor, and he's pretty well known. Like some people have been ripping off his stuff for a very long time.
Okay,
so
to be nice.
Yeah, cool. And he wasn't like the price wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest with that.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah. Speaking of, here's another personal life thing, and this is I don't know if it's me dropping the ball or my work dropping the ball or what's going on. So my work ended up signing me up for this leadership conference thing, and they're paying like thousands of dollars to send me to this thing, and it's in August. and I get the dates today. It's mandatory, and my work's already paid all the money for me to go, and I just hadn't put in the vacation yet for it. But I've already booked a vacation that week, like already paid for the place, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. See if I can change the dates on the vacation, or my wife and kids might be going on vacation without me. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna try. Yeah, it's horrible. We're trying to figure that out. It was just one of those things. I got the dates. I was like, any day you could have picked, and that's the day you picked for the leadership conference. Thanks, guys. Well, it was my fault for not booking the vacation right away, but it doesn't matter. The leader conference would have been that day anyway. My work would have been like, yeah, you're going to this. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But that was fun today. Getting that bombshell. Like, oops. Yeah. Anyway, guys, ready to go? Yeah. Let's get into this.
Let's do it.
There's not much going on in these chapters, guys.
It'll be a quick night.
These are fun. Really these are fun chapters.
So I'll say this: when we get into chapters like this, it's worse for us because we have to wait so long to the next chapters. I feel like if you're reading, these are chapters. You're right, Alan. There's good information in here, but it is kind of like, meh. Yeah. But if we're reading at our own pace, these are the kind of chapters you fly through real quick so you could get to the action.
I started to listen to the next chapter. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was like 15 seconds in, and I was like, nope, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to the podcast. You can't.
Should we be excited, or was it not enough to tell?
It wasn't enough to like when I said I was like, don't do it.
You've been going strong for this long, Chris. You can keep going.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Anyway. So chapter 3.
It's worse now that Chanel's reading it, though. For those that were not listening earlier, she's on chapter 30, and when I tell you, she rubs it in my face.
Giggity.
All the
time. That's right.
Nice. Yeah. So chapter 3, a woman's eyes, and we have the dragon fang as our symbol. Yeah, so we start right where we left off, where Rand was like, okay, we're going to go to the farm. And Tiny's like, where's the farm? He goes, I'll show you. So he starts to make a gateway. And he's like, and of course, Tiny's never seen how this is done. And he's not really showing him, but at the same time, not showing him, like check out what I can do. Womp.
Yeah, and he speaks to that very soon, not to jump ahead immediately. Yeah, but he's like, all right, there's definitely things I got to learn from this guy, but there's things I need to teach this old man too. So he is intentional about letting him see certain things, and plans to learn from him also. So it's part of it was a teaching moment for sure.
Right.
And it's hard to teach something that you don't know how you're doing. Like, he makes the comment, like, this is something I learned to do on my own. It just kind of came intuitively. So this might be one of those skills that is harder for others.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. If everybody starts doing this, like, how do you fight anybody? You're like, I'm going to get you. Where the hell did you go? Oh, man.
I mean, Asmodean himself, like, had a hard time explaining it. So, and to your point, you still have to focus to create that and then go in and out of it. And we saw that happen way back in the prologue of book 1. So,
yeah.
It's funny how all this stuff is coming back, this many books later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he ends up jumping through, and some I guess maidens jumping through his honor guard. And
the best part of this chapter is it's open and they're going through, and Avienda's like, Rand, wait, I gotta talk to you.
Like slams the door.
Everybody in the party like kind of rolls their eyes, like, oh my goodness, this drama again. And Rand doesn't even look back and goes, swoop.
What is that all about? I mean, I know he's trying to avoid her, but why is she chasing him down? This is not very Avienda-like.
She needs to tell him that she's pregnant. I'm telling you, they're drawing this out. She's gonna be like 8.5 months pregnant, like bulging and everything. Rand's gonna be like, damn, went a little heavy on taco night, did you, Avienda? Come on, that's
a little gassy.
Yeah. So they get to the farm, and at least the outskirts, because he explains he opens gateways not near the center, and they have a specific place where gateways can be opened. That way people avoid it, so it doesn't accidentally kill someone, because he saw what it did to the spear the Shanshan through, and obviously if it opened up on someone, it probably would cut them in half. So it's
By the way, I think it's funny. I'm gonna go back. The way it says Rand let go of the weave inside Dean immediately. Not once in this book has he just been able to completely let it go.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's true.
Instance,
It's normally a struggle.
but in this instance, it was like boom.
Even Sardine was like, "Run away, run away!" Fuck that shit.
The power of a woman's eyes.
I might be tainted, but I'm not trying to deal with that.
I'm sorry. I know.
So
A
woman chasing you is
nice.
worse than the Dark One's taint. Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Sure.
Interesting. Spoiler alert.
So, anyways, so yeah. So then he starts talking to him about like Forsaken and Shadow Spawn and like all these different things that he might have to learn. He starts just listing them all off, and even lists some that he doesn't even know what they are. He mentions Golem. He's like, I don't even know what that is, but somehow I do. I guess that's from Luz. He even thinks about that. I guess sometimes things come in my head that it's not him talking, but it's his thoughts. So it's really messing with him. So, did you all catch that or have thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, when I was listening, then when I went back through it and kind of looked over it, first off, the spelling of Golem is definitely different than what I'm used to seeing. So, I love how Jordan still this far into the book isn't using what we are used to seeing.
Sure.
Which then goes to my question of, will we see this creature and what will it actually be like? So that question kind of flashed in my mind. And then just looking at, we use the term, false news or fake news and fake media. And then also just the power of stories in the spoken word. And Rand realizes that like the word is getting around because he had already heard about some of this, he being our other friend, Taim. Mm-hmm. So the fact that information was spreading that fast even then is just, it just shows you how eager we are as to be defined as humans because of our need for communication. So
yeah, and he even goes into talk about dark hounds and said some of them the only way you can kill them is balefire. And he turns and goes, do you know how to use balefire? Mm-hmm. If you do, don't don't even tell me, but if you do, don't use it. If you don't learn it. Just forget to even say anything about it.
Don't teach that one to anybody. That's what I'm not gonna teach you. Although he does say you could use it, but only on Shadow Spawn.
Yeah. But he's not gonna teach it to him.
No. And he also talks about Michael Bublé's.
Yes. About Michael Bublé's.
The Bublé's.
The Bublé's of evil.
The Bublé's of evil. So I mean, I think it's really I'm appreciative of him going through this information and really bringing Taim into the fold. I hope that he doesn't turn out to be someone we're going to regret. Yeah. For whatever reason, my gut feeling is to actually like this guy. I know that's weird, but I want him to be around for a while, and I want him to kind of help lead the charge.
If the relationship goes sour, I think right now the bigger risk is Rand being the cause of it because of this battle with Luz. Luz wants to kill them all. Luz says don't trust them all, and he's fighting that. So
right.
Could it go sour? Probably will. Is it going to be Taim's fault? I mean, as of right now, if I had to guess, I put my money on Rand jacking things up because of Luz.
I mean, and maybe Luz wants to kill them all because the Dark One can body hop.
Or something or use them in some capacity. Even if it's just
anybody being touched by the taint can be, controlled or manipulated.
True that.
So they finally get to the farm, which is like a lopsided barn about to fall over. Not really that much of a farm, and there's there's families there. There's men that have come that think they might be able to learn, and they brought their wife and kids with them. Not all of them are married, but the ones that are brought their families with them. And of course, the wives aren't really happy about all this, but they're going to try to support the dragon, reborn. So here we are. And Taim's first impression of all of them is like, what do you want me to do with this? This is like these people.
It's the worst possible lot of what in the world
doing their daily chores.
This is the dodgeball average Joe's gym.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Dodge a ball.
Worse than that, it's the last pick out of that group.
It really.
Yeah. Imagine Taim is the guy in the wheelchair with a wrench. Yeah, so
I can see Taim strolling in and going, "The fuck? What? Okay, this is a joke. It's a joke. You got me.
Yeah. This is funny. Yeah. And he says, "No, you said you could test them, so I want you to test them." And he says, "Well, you don't know how to do it." And he's like, "No, but go for it." So
haven't had time.
he
Also, don't know. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. So he tests his Damer first, and explains to Rand first like what he's going to see. He's like, I'm going to put the flame up in front of him, and then kind of adjust pitch, and then if you start to see or sense a resonance, that means they have the ability to channel, which I thought was a really just interesting concept. I just found it fascinating when I first read it. That's similar to sound
board.
Yeah, similar to sound waves where everything has a natural resonance, whether it's glass, wood, anything. It's
like the luck from the Cosmere.
Yeah,
y'all missed the funny part though. The funny part is Taim, quickly tells Rand, now you don't go in strong right off the bat because their head might explode. You got to go in easy and slowly turn it up. Now, how does Taim know that? It's not like he knew that originally. This has to be trial and error. So at one point, somebody was like, I think I could channel. And Taim was like, let me check. Oh, shit. All right, let me scale that back a bit.
My mind went completely elsewhere. Thank you.
Also, I saw a video a few weeks ago about sound resonating. And if you use a tube and you try to like sing up a scale into a tube to try to find the natural resonance of the tube, the pressure wave inside the tube will actually cancel out your vocal cords and you'll miss the note. Like you'll actually not be able to hit that note no matter how vocal trained you are.
That's cool.
The pressure wave will go back into your mouth and into your throat and cancel out the vocal cords. So you won't be able to actually hit the note into the tube. Outside, like a glass outside, you can resonate it, but into the tube, it creates a pressure wave inside the tube and you can't.
That's dope. That's super cool.
Yeah, they have videos of like professional singers and stuff like that trying to do it, and they miss notes going up a scale. They're like, "What? That's so weird." I can hit that note.
It didn't work. I hit
you gotta put your mouth on it, not near it.
I did this pose for you, Chris.
You have to put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. Relax the lips.
I don't think that's pretty big. I don't think I could.
You got that mic in there.
It's bigger than the mic and solid.
Yeah. That's what she said. Anyway,
let's get back on track.
Maybe if it wasn't so hard, I could work it in
there. We just lost 3 viewers. So they eventually find that Damer can channel, and they're like, "Yeah, congratulations, old man, you can channel." And he's like, and his wife's like, "This is not good."
She does the fake, yay,
yeah,
and there was much rejoicing. Yeah.
And Taim's kind of surprised by this too. He's like, the first guy I test like can channel. Is like, I would be surprised if all of them can. Like, just how lucky you are. Taviran, yeah.
I knew you were gonna say lucky, not lucky.
Taviran, yeah.
Is he so Taviran that these guys wouldn't have had a chance to channel, but the fact that they're there and Rand needs them to be able to channel, that they could channel?
Maybe.
I mean, how far does the Taviranness go?
He just drew all of them near him that could already.
Yeah.
Channel.
Yep.
Yeah. And after that,
25-mile radius.
Yeah.
After had the potential to channel, because Taim's even like, look, man, it's going to take him forever just to like recognize what sighting is, right? Let alone actually be able to reach out and hold it and use it. So like actual channeling is a couple steps away, is a long time away of training. They just have the ability, the potential.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and after Rick sees this and kind of learns how to test, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna dip out now." And Time's like, "You want me to now just do this?" He's like, "Yeah, I want you to train them all now. I want you to make them weapons, and that's what I want you to do."
Time said, "Oh, so you unloading all of this on me and leaving me to do it all by myself?" No, you made that scene way too. He like went off. He's like, "Hold on a second. No. That's not cool."
I mean, he obviously recognizes himself as way more valuable than that.
Right.
And this seems like such a minuscule task. But
Yeah.
what he's probably missing, and I wonder if Rand is considering this. Yes, Rand's thinking and talking about how we need as many soldiers as we can. He talks about how many Aes Sedai are there and how many this and that, and we got to fight Forsaken. But because you can link with other channelers, and the channelers you link with, it really doesn't matter how powerful they are. It just depends on your numbers. Rand could amplify his power just by having a dozen dudes that can just barely channel. So there's certainly value in it. Taim just probably doesn't recognize that now. This is definitely beneath him.
Right.
Taim was like, well, dude, I came here to help you and to teach you. Don't you want to learn? And that seems like, I got it already. I'm good. I picked it up. It's no big deal.
Right.
I seen it, and I know it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he also warns them to watch out for students that are learning too fast, because there could be Forsaken and for disguise amongst them. It's like, great. Like,
That's smart.
He's like, I want you to push them hard. I want you to teach them fast. Teach them fast as possible. I need an army fast. So, but if they start learning too fast, keep an eye on them. There might be something in there. And this is also where, Rand lets slip that he wants to clean Sidene, and Taib's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, that would take more power than you even have. There are these things called Sangreal, though. Like, wait a second, do you have one of those? And it's like,
worry about your own damn business, Taim. Don't be asking me about me and mine.
I ain't got shit.
Man, I ain't seen shit.
Yeah.
Comb the desert.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to also take a moment to pause and really reflect on Rand as a character. How long has it been? How far along in the timeline are we? Has it been a year?
Couple
years. Couple years?
It's been over a year at this point.
Yeah.
I can figure that out for you. It'll take a second.
So if you want to throw that in your notes, Alan, every once in a while, give us a time check of how long since Two Rivers, because that does make a difference.
Sure.
Because Rand right now is different than Rand in the last book, is so different than Rand from where we started. Like,
and I mean, the thing that really drew my attention was he's just like, they're weapons. What really got me was when he was having the conversation with our friend who just was tested, and Damer. And Damer was like, yeah, my pop is looking after my land, and I think we're going to head back because, I could end up with a crop. If we get one water, it'll be worth me being there to take care of the crop. We knew what it was. His wife was ready to go. She wasn't for this shit. She was like, look, we got to go.
She's like, you need to tell that man you're leaving.
Rand was like,
honey.
Well, we just need to make sure that, you don't miss an opportunity. You don't want to,
but it's your choice. You could go back, but since you're here, you might as well see if you could.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, so he allows that little seed of doubt to be implanted in their mind, because once he figures out that he can, then the question is how long before I do it without thinking about it and I'm driven crazy? Like, he's playing mind games with these guys. He's playing Days de Mar with them. He is manipulating them, and he is turning them into what he needs, which is weapons to use when the time comes.
Well, he even thought about how, you used to hate when the Aes Sedai would do this, and look at you.
Yeah.
Now you're doing it. Yeah.
I beg to say he's worse, because he can lie.
True that.
Like, outright.
Yeah.
And to make matters that much worse, he could command it, and he has plenty of people to back him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we get, of course, the conversation as it's ending with him, and then he wants to figure out, well, Taim, exactly how strong are you?
Oh yeah, this was interesting.
So, yeah, a little bit of mistrust, and I think it's good that he made that decision to figure it out, because he figures out that Homeboy is equally as strong as he is.
So the book started on March 23rd, 998. And these events are taking place around November 999.
We're only about a year and a half.
Year and a half
About a half
of their time.
Of their time.
Man, Rand has changed.
Yeah.
A lot's happened in a year and a half.
Chris, where were you a year and a half ago?
Still doing this podcast.
For sure doing this podcast.
So that'd be like
well,
end
okay,
of
so
2020,
I can tell
right?
you, yeah,
End of 2020?
a lot did happen in that time. If we're really thinking about it, I was midway through my first year of teaching, and contemplating the engagement.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were optimistic about teaching.
I was optimistic about teaching.
That's the best part.
I'm still optimistic about teaching. I just know that I would put my hands on some children. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of faith in kids still. I just know what they really need. And I got a collection of these things here that I hold on to. And I just can't use them. I can't, 30 years ago, I would have been the best teacher there was.
Different times back then.
Different times.
Yeah.
I still remember. I guess I was in the. I'm old enough that I was the tail end of that. So my first grade, I went to private school, and the teachers would still use the rulers on the knuckles if you were acting on class. So
there are places here in the Carolinas that still allow it.
In Lower Alabama, they still had it. It was like a third strike thing, and they would call the parents first, but the principal could lay it, and I think only an administrator could do it. But at my kids' elementary school in Alabama, you could still get paddled.
You get the wooden ruler on the hand, just sitting there if you're talking up or acting up in class. Quick.
When my kids told me that, they were like, but they would call you guys first. I was like, I don't know if you think that's going to help you, but if the principal, if it got to the point where they had to call me because they already told you twice, this is now the third time.
Go ahead.
Mama said,
and they're saying they think they ought to paddle you. I'd be like,
you can go right ahead and whoop my.
Go ahead. I'm gonna just send a permission slip now and be like, if it's strike 3, get on it. Yeah.
We do not condone child abuse on this podcast at all.
Make sure you snap that belt a couple times beforehand so they have that moment to think about it. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, so yeah, we get to this, like, it's this final scene where Rand does tell him to seize Saidin because he wants to test him to see how powerful he is. And as he starts to draw on the power, Luz just goes crazy in Rand's head, like, kill him now, like, don't let him do any more. And Rand's surprised by how strong he is. He's like, good lord, this guy could like level this entire town right now, easily.
But also says that's the minimum, at least, of what he can channel. He doesn't know if time is holding back. So there's still the potential it could be stronger than that.
Because time was not even sweating, apparently. So he's like, yeah, this guy's pretty strong.
He is. And it goes to somebody's thought about him potentially being a dark friend. I still don't think he is, but there's a little bit of, credibility there to your claim.
If he is, I don't know that I'm convinced that he is right now either. But if he is, that's a dangerous mole right there. I mean, he's in a significant position. He could easily get close to Rand and everybody else around there, and we know he's powerful. And he's in a position where he's training these people that are supposed to be eventually supporting Rand. So if he wants to play the long game, he could train these guys up in such a way that they're more loyal to him and not Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like all sorts of bad stuff could happen here.
Correct.
Yeah. Good. And then Rand leaves. That's he's like, all right, cool. Train the students. Yeah, go find more and train. Train these guys up so they can go find more. And keep building this army. I'll be back later. See you later.
We also need to bring note to the fact that Rand began to channel as well without even knowing it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know whether or not that's himself or Luz.
Right.
Yeah.
Which there's two scary thoughts in that. First and foremost, we know that when he channels, A, he typically slips into the void, and B, he's very aware because it overtakes him.
Yeah. You can't deny that feeling of channeling as a male. Like it hits you.
Yeah. So if he did it subconsciously himself in reaction to, then that means he was scared.
Yeah.
And now if it was Luz that did it, we still have an issue because that means he can seize that power, and one more good push and he could use that power.
Yeah. A truly out of control Rand or out of control person with that kind of power.
It's like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I'm still trusting Rand because it's Rand that's able to do all these things. And Tam raised him, and he's got good morals, and tries to do the right thing. But as Rand slips away and Luz takes over, it could be one sketchy dude.
Could be.
Yeah. You think that's going to happen at some point? Is that a prediction that Luz is going to take over and things are just going to go to hell?
Oh, well, I mean, if not for a moment, maybe even for a short period of time. I mean, I think right now that's the biggest battle we're facing. Not the Forsaken, the Great Lord of the Dark, whatever. He ain't out yet. I think the biggest battle we should be concerned with is the battle within with Rand.
Isn't it always the biggest battle? It's the battle within yourself.
The biggest battle is going to be between me and I'm going to put Brandon Sanderson as the one responsible. If I don't get parent chapter soon here.
Yeah.
This is not even Brandon Sanderson book yet.
You put him responsible. He's still going to be responsible.
Yep.
Yep. So anything we missed from this chapter? Anything?
I mean, we had the women picking all over him feeling like he's, being treated like a child. This is the typical stuff. The maidens, have a little laugh at him and start slapping thighs and all that good stuff, playing with each other's hair. And it got real kinky real quick. So I was a little uncomfortable listening. I thought I was like, intruding on something special.
Yeah.
But
it's more exciting if you listen to it while you're in the shower.
Is that how you listen to these chapters?
Yeah,
I have done that once or twice.
Well, when I shower, I usually am listening. I mean, I'll get through like 15, 20 minutes while I'm in there.
Since my brother, that's been on this podcast before, listens to us, I got to call him out now. So he didn't tell me this, but his wife told me this. Is like, yeah, he listens to your podcast while he's in the shower. He just turns up all the way and like listen. I was like, I don't want to know that.
It's Ian's voice.
Although it'd be funny if there was like not a video of him showering, but just an audio, like you hear us, the shower's going, and in one of our gigging moments, you just hear him like, giggity indeed.
Giggity.
I think the last part that really caught me, it really kind of gave life to people's feelings towards Rand at the moment was the juror Grady. She said she stared at him. Excuse me. It says Sora Grady, her son clasped to her breast, was not watching her husband. Her eyes were still locked on Rand. A woman's eyes cut deeper than a knife. Another two were saying, like, he definitely is not doing himself any favors by manipulating these people. He should have been outright and honest with them. Like, look, you got really two options. You learn how to channel and you help the world. You don't learn how to channel and you're going to die one way or the other. Either your channeling is going to catch up eventually and you're going to die, or we lose the battle and you die.
Right.
And you have a child that's still suckling on the breast. Like, if you want a world for that child to grow up in, you need to fight.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's
fight
your why.
for your right.
For your right.
That's what I've been reading Seineke, the Know Your Why. So, it's really interesting to watch the perspective of how businesses work and the ones that go with the how, the what, the how, and the why versus the why, the how, and the what. So he's kind of doing things the opposite way, so he's not being an inspiring leader.
Interesting. Cool. Anything else in these chapters?
No,
I think we got a lot out of it. Yeah.
No.
A lot more than I expected.
Yeah.
If you guys want to keep going, we can. I mean, I don't need to refill anything, and I don't need to go to the bathroom, so we don't need a break this week.
I'm good. Yeah, we can keep cruising.
We can keep going.
Good. All right, cool. Let's keep going. No break this week. We'll just keep running right through. All right. So
We need to ask our listeners: do you guys need a break? Are you tired of our voices?
They don't need a break. We always get massive like drop off during breaks anyway. People are like, I'm not gonna listen to music for 10 minutes. It's the same music playing over and over again. Well, because that's like this program only allows like.
I'm laughing at Jake's comments. He's like, after I met Alan in real life, I had to stop listening in the shower.
That's funny.
Truth.
Well, this is awkward.
Yeah. Actually, Jake came and stayed at my place. I think it was like the morning. And I thought it was him on the porch. I woke up in the morning, came downstairs, and there's a guy on the porch. And like, I opened the porch. I assumed it was Jake, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" The guy turned around. It was my exterminator that was coming for like his quarterly like spray, and he just let himself into the porch to spray around for bugs. And I was like, "You're not who I thought you were, but thank you for doing what you're doing." I am hungover going back inside. So anyway, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 4, a sense of humor. And our chapter symbol is roosters, our ravens.
Crows, ravens.
Is it the roosters? Is it the ravens? I don't know.
Could be roosters.
I mean, is it the joke? Or is it the water? So Ian did call me about this one to ask me about what the joke actually was. I said, good luck, buddy. So Rand travels through the camp in Kyrian. Actually, I think he's near Tyr at this point. Yeah, he's near Tyr. They're outside of Tyr. He's traveled to check on people there. There's a camp where there's Kyrians and Tyrians and Aiel there as well. And the nobles are all basically ignoring the Aiel. And I'm kind of a little upset about all of it. And he failed to laugh at an Aiel joke. And, they kind of call him out on it. Like, dude, you're never any sense of humor. You're never funny. You never laugh. Like, what's going on? He's like, oh, you want a joke? I'll tell you a joke. And he bombs worse than any amateur Mike Knight I've ever seen in a comedy club. But Ian loved the joke. So I'll let Ian go from here.
Rand is not funny.
I thought that joke was funny.
Well, then tell me what the punchline is. I also don't get it.
You didn't get his joke?
I read it and listened to it a couple times. I was hoping like,
and I'll read it to you.
Oh my gosh, I don't.
It's about the rooster in the tree, going up the tree.
It's not about the rooster. Is it because as he was falling and
you're getting it now?
That's also not funny.
Yeah, it is. Ah! And he didn't reach his hand out to him.
No, he didn't speak to him. He was expecting him to say hi as he passed by.
No, he didn't reach out to him.
No, but he said, I just passed him and he didn't say anything. It didn't say that he didn't reach out. It was like he didn't say hi or something.
Where's the darn thing at? Oh, here it is.
That's what she said. Oh, here it is.
Here it is.
Found it.
I passed him just a moment ago in broad daylight, and he never spoke a word to me. Yeah, you're right. It's still because of that, because he just watched him fall. Didn't like say or do anything.
Right. If you want to fake laugh at that horrible joke,
I didn't.
You go right ahead. I can't even laugh at the fact that it's not funny. The funny part were the Aiel trying to figure out, like, well, what about the water?
What about the water?
Is it the water? No.
Surely the water's the joke. The rooster's the joke.
It's the rooster. Yeah.
The rooster. It has to be the rooster.
But we need to know what happened to the water for this to make sense.
Yeah. And he just kind of throws his hands up and That's where you should have said, and I stabbed a guy, took a nickel or something like that.
Yeah.
$5.
You know, I have one or two go-to jokes if somebody hits you with the "Hey, tell me a joke" thing, because you don't want to be caught off guard with it.
I mean, I even got the Thunderwalker.
Well, I know one of your go-to jokes. I know one of your go-to jokes.
Is it Disney related?
Did you get
it's the penguin and the ice cream.
Oh yeah, that one you need a lot of time. That might be a bonus episode one. But my favorite one, if there's no kids around, is it's a story about Mickey and Minnie. They're in divorce court. They're getting divorced, and Mickey's trying to divorce Minnie. And high profile lawyers is going on for days, back and forth, showing evidence, and eventually they're reaching closing arguments, and the judge just looks at Mickey and is like, "Look, I don't know what to tell you, Mickey. You can't just divorce your wife because she's going crazy." Mickey goes, "No, Your Honor, that's not what I said. I said she's fucking goofy." But I never said she's going crazy. She keeps using the mouse catoodles when I'm not around.
Your Mickey voice is pretty good, huh?
It is. Please tell me you understood the Thunderwalker joke.
Oh, yeah. So all the Aiel stuff joking on each other back and forth. Hilarious. Good stuff. And Rand's sitting here talking about like how he doesn't understand their sense of humor, and then his joke just flops big time. Not just with the Aiel, but with the reader. Rand, you are not funny. He should have let Luz Theron tell a joke.
Rand's gonna be my favorite.
So one time I killed my whole family. That'd have been better.
Because I am laughing.
You tilted your head back and laughed.
This is getting dark fast.
Right. That's what she said.
Oh. Anyways.
Were we reading?
So
we're not going to read the joke out loud. I'm not going to encourage our readers to revisit that joke. Just know it's bad.
There's a joke.
But the Aiel back and forth with each other, hilarious.
Yeah.
The men had never gotten along, but Will finally agreed. So the two men went up to the pond and began climbing the tree. Who first? They meant to frighten the rooster out, you see, but the bird only kept flying higher, branch by branch. Then, just as Who and the rooster reached almost the very top of the tree, with Will right behind, there was a loud crack, and the branch under Who's feet broke away. And down he went into the pond, splashing water and mud everywhere. Will scrambled down as fast as he could and reached out for Hugh from the bank. But Hugh lay there on his back, sinking deeper into the mud until only his nose stuck out of the water. Another farmer had seen what had happened and came running and pulled Hugh out of the pond. "Why didn't you take Will's hand?" he asked Hugh. "You could have drowned. Why should I take his hand now?" Hugh grumped. "I passed him just a moment ago in broad daylight, and he never spoke a word to me."
Can we edit that out? I don't think we're gonna get any patrons from reading that.
We just gained 4 people watching.
Yeah, smash the like button.
Smash the like.
Oh man.
I
was in a great mood, and all of a sudden I feel depressed.
All right, so let's get back into
what
the rest
happened
of
to
this.
The pond?
Yeah,
it's the rooster.
Hey, you dummy.
My favorite thing it's changed now, but years ago on the fandom Reddit used to have r/wetlander humor, which had a bunch of memes and everything like that. And there was a section called r/Aiel humor, and it was just always blank. On purpose. So it's but they now it actually has memes in there too. But for the longest time, it was just as the joke. There was no Aiel humor.
That's great.
But yeah, so so they returned back to the command tent. And he's been concerned about Luz Theron's voice. And he also learns about a rebellion during all this. So
that really so it confused me a little bit. And the reason why it confused me is how you weren't gone. I mean, you should be engaging with your lieutenants, your generals, whatever, often. So you should have known about this quite a while ago. Like, is there a
He's-
gap in time? Was he busy with that
Oh,
many
he's
other
been-
things?
He's been gone from tier for a while.
No
He's
cell
just getting
phones.
back. Yeah, he's just getting back to tier. I mean, he's been in the waste, and then he went to Kyra, and now they're down towards tier, back to where the stone was, and where he put into book 3.
When you say rebellion,
so-
is this the people he's like, hey, where's so and so? Like, and they're not gonna make it because they left
Yeah.
and left a note, and they're calling you out. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're planning a rebellion.
Yeah, and so as I was reading it, also it seemed like it happened somewhat recently. And again, to Alan's point, Rand's been kind of traveling around in other places.
Yeah.
So not surprising. Each time Rand has kind of conquered somewhere, and yes, he mixes things up a little bit, puts some people in charge, changes the way to do things a little bit, but then he has to move on. And we've all talked about how all these nobles, they keep trying to, hedge their bets a certain way or, gain more power. It's not necessarily gain favor with the dragon, it's gain more power. So it's not surprising that there's some people that think they could do better off working against him. They can get more followers, more influence that way. So I wasn't totally surprised by it. I like Rand's response though.
Yeah. And Rand realizes he has to do something. I mean, he doesn't really want to give it the time of day. He's like, I don't really care, but I have to do something. So
this is where he's playing the game for real, because we know that he's kind of leading on to this is what our objective is, while he's got Matt and other people on a mission all in themselves. Like, I thought that was really interesting. He's just there kind of keeping up the facade, keeping the people busy, and hoping that he can get some stuff handled behind the scenes. So that I did appreciate. It's very tactical of him. And then the fact that the Kyrian and Lords just had like malicious smiles on their faces. It was
shitty grins.
Yeah, shitty grins is Samandrid and how do you pronounce his name? Weramon, or how they were kind of going into the detail of, they're bucking on the system, they're rebelling, they're, essentially committing treason. And Rand's like, well, one of them I completely expected to do that. Like, at least he's had the balls the whole time. But the other one, like, he pledged fealty. Like, he dropped to his knees and he, said that he would kiss my boots if I wanted him to. And now he's gone. That's kind of cowardly.
Yeah.
But
all these nobles, though, this is my favorite part. They're all like, so should we hunt him down and execute him? And he's like, nah, how about this? They're just not nobles anymore. I mean, if we run into him and we pick him up, yeah, sure, we'll deal with it. But they're not nobles. Everything that was theirs is no longer theirs anymore. I'm just going to take it. And that terrified everybody in the room, because that is worse than death. If you die a noble, you still die a noble. In death, you're a noble. But those people have been reduced to peasants.
Yeah. It's just anyone who surrenders,
awesome.
They said their lives will be spared. We won't kill anybody who surrenders to us and comes clean. We'll just strip their titles in the land, and they'll be free to live. But if you don't surrender, we'll hang you without titles or land. So it's up to you.
I would have loved if he would have turned to one of the servants and said, "You know what?
That was my thought.
You are now the lord of whatever they were.
That was
all of their shit is now yours."
So the fact that they felt so vindicated as he was saying it, it was like, oh, and now they're the ones smiling. Like, I was like, yes, one for the little people, one for the poor class.
I wish he'd have just handed all the stuff to them. That'd have been the cherry on top. Because then all the other nobles would have to recognize them as a peer, even if they were a come here or a newcomer.
I had the exact same thought. In my mind, I was like, oh, he's about to reassign some titles.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be even worse if he had given it to the IEO. And you get a land, and you get some land. Like, they don't own anything, so to put them.
Oh yeah,
I'd have been okay with it, but that would have started a war right then and there.
It would have.
Oh yeah. And
the IEO themselves would have felt some type of way about being gifted land.
Yeah,
I'd probably go against Giotto or something like that. They'd owe something.
And own wetland or property? Fuck that.
We take
it's too wet.
Yeah.
So
And too many funny roosters.
too many funny roosters, yeah. So he's holding his war council as well. Werriman is there. He tells him not to send his forces to Ilion yet. He's still waiting to amass a large enough army. And you see it here where like Werriman's been ignoring all of the Aiel and any intelligence reports they've been bringing back and scouts from them. So there's a lot of tension that's built up between the nobles, both the Tyrian and Kyrian nobles and the Aiel, and it's very evident in this scene. They're disapproving of his plan. They all just want to go in battle right now, and he's kind of like,
there's still a number of them are still questioning whether or not he is the Dragon Reborn and
Yep.
whether or not he pulled Calendar. I mean, I think that's one of the number one mistakes. I understand his purpose. I get it. He left it because he couldn't control it, but at some point he's got to make a point. He could go snatch it up, show everybody that he pulled it, and go put it back.
Yeah.
Like,
but to him, it's a waste of time. Like he even says that to the Aiel when the Aiel said, "Well, we can go hunt down these rebels," and he's like, "No, we don't have time for this. Like, we have other stuff."
He's got a plan in place that he needs to follow through.
Yeah,
he could go quick and dirty, like a lot of horrible like tyrants have in the past. And when they're like, "Yeah, we think that pulling Calendar was just some Aes Sedai trick," and he could just turn around and go, "Want to see another Aes Sedai trick?" and then finger blast one of the dudes in the room, and then go, "Y'all want to see some more?" They'd be quiet.
I completely agree with you. He's got to make a stand and prove himself in some way, and the quickest way to do it is to pick out the number one person he hates and like make them explode from the inside. Or something.
Prison rules, man. Just go for the big dude. But that's something Luz would do. That's not something Rand would do.
How very Machiavellian of you guys.
Right.
Like
I'm not suggesting it, but it might be effective.
It's better to be feared than loved.
In this,
if he's not taking the time to earn the respect and prove himself, and he still needs him to do X, Y, Z, is he going to back himself in a corner where he has to do something like that?
Exactly.
I'm not really a proponent of it, but I'm worried something like that will be required.
Remind me never to work for Ian. He'll just be like, "Yeah, just fire one guy just to set example for everybody." That just Joe, is that his name? That guy over there? Yeah, he's fired.
Yeah,
it'll be worse. He'll be like, you just started working here. You get to pick the person that gets fired. I'm going to get coffee."
I haven't done anything like that, but there was a moment where one of my kids, when they were younger, did not want to eat the broccoli on their plate, so they picked it up with their fork, looked me dead in the eye, moved the fork over, and then dropped it on the floor. And I was like, "Well, now you fucked up. Now you got to eat broccoli that was on the floor. Like, why? What do you think you accomplished there? Now you have floor broccoli."
Yeah,
our floors were clean-ish.
My son tries to pull like threats that are very, very like not. He doesn't know how to threaten yet. He's only 4, so he'll do stuff like that where he'll be like, he's like, if you make me do this, I'm not gonna be your best friend anymore. I'm like, good, I'm your parent, not your best friend. So go ahead and do it.
Friend is not even a requirement.
Yes, I don't have to be your friend, dude.
Cool if it works out that way, but bro, not on the to-do list.
I don't know. That's a threat, but go ahead, buddy.
Number one feeling herder. It's like, but. Too bad.
My favorite one. If you make me do this, I'll never eat dinner again. I was like, I bet.
You'll save me a lot of money in the long run.
You'll be hungry and ask for food in 5 seconds. Come on, man.
It's
not even a good threat. Like,
it's totally not believable.
Unless
if you tell me you're going to forcibly crap your pants, all right. That might be a good threat.
Yeah.
I know you can't clean it up by yourself. I would have to clean it. I don't enjoy the poop. Right.
That's a better one. But yeah,
I don't want to give my
and I can't get mad at you for pooping because that just causes psychological damage. So like it's
exactly.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't talk.
I would start negotiating when there were poop threats. I would. I think to myself, be like, "Oh man, not in diapers anymore.
Don't give him any ideas.
Got to take this serious." Anyways, yeah.
So
or broccoli.
All right. So so after that he kind of lays out more of the plans. The nobles leave. He talks to the clan chiefs for a while. They've stayed silent because they're being ignored by the nobles. This is when when Han suggests that they send them against the rebels, and Rand says, "No, there's more important things to do." Suggesting that the Aiel didn't maybe just go against the alien by themselves without the others. But
they
also
get there quicker.
Yeah, they get there quicker. Also, Rand's like, no, the alien's a pretty good force. Like, we need to go about this the right way. It's led by Samuel. We know we have to get our ducks in a line before we just go attack Ilion. It's on the playing field, but it's just we have to figure everything out first.
Yeah. If they go after this in like splintered factions, each one trying to get their own glory, and really if they don't rally with the Aiel, I don't know how you win this one.
Do you think that's going to happen in this book? That we're going to get to Ilion?
So like Chris was saying, there's some smoke and mirrors things going on, because you can, in Rand's perspective, in his mind, he talks about how people need to believe XYZ is going to happen. But I don't know if it's the pace or if I'm just not smart enough to really pick up on what the game plan is. So maybe it's a fake juke to Ilion with the forces, but then Rand's going to do something else, but I don't know what.
Okay.
And I know he talked about Matt leading, but he was talking about Matt leading the forces going to Ilion.
On a special mission right now anyway. I think Matt and a couple other were sent to kill Samael.
Okay.
And
that's a tall order.
It is, but I think it's Matt's plan. So I think there's something that they have, or some person, or like that's going to allow this to occur. Because I mean, Rand even alluded to it.
How do you know he didn't send Matt to go get Elaine?
We don't know.
I mean, that'd be a cool secret mission that you would trust your like best friend forever to go do.
He don't really care for Elaine that much. He wants her as far away as possible.
Yeah, but Camelin being what Camelin is, he believes Morghese is dead. He doesn't believe that Elaine is. Got to get somebody back in the throne.
Well, he knows Elaine's not. He also wants to stay away from Elaine, so can't have her come into the throne and him head that direction. Which goes to my next statement. He made a comment about, trying to match the number of Aiel if possible, or Aes Sedai if possible. And so maybe he's looking at going and taking the White Tower back. Because if you have the White Tower, then you have use of all the Angreal and Taangreal and Sangreal that are there.
That's true. Mm-hmm. He might already know there's something he needs that's being kept in the tower.
I mean, you get an idea of how many more seals there are, if they have any at all there. You then also have kind of control of one of the major port cities. So, and then for those Aiel that would like to work with him, you get more strength added to your force, and those that don't, you get
that angle's got to be there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rand knows that, the stories of men and women channeling together and working together. And we talked about this before, or I did, with the building of the male force, hopefully part of his plan is to unite those that are willing to unite.
Right. I mean, we know that there's a party coming from them to him, but we don't know. Yeah.
Which half of the White Tower? Both halves.
You're right. We don't know which one is going to be the one he goes with. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we finish up this chapter with them. I guess some of the maidens talking about Avienda and get underneath Rand's skin a bit.
They're like, Rand, why don't you wash your hair? And they're like, ooh. Why would you dare suggest he wash her hair? He should start with at least brushing it.
I think he should tug on it a little bit.
Well, brushing it hurts worse than washing it. I mean, washing is quite intimate. Have you ever washed your woman's hair?
No.
It's an intimate process. You got to get all up in there.
I mean, I've washed my kid's hair. It was not intimate at all.
Well,
it's actually very.
Hold still. It's in my eye. Shut up. I mean, I don't tell my kids to shut up. That's a joke.
I need to tell. It's in my eyes.
Oh, the burn is good. It's clean.
The whole I need a towel when I'm in the shower. I just I'm like, look at the water and blink. You'll be all right. It's
common sense isn't common when you're that age.
Yeah. Exactly.
You have to teach them. You have to let their eyes burn first, and you'll remember the solution as long as we let it burn a little bit first.
It's funny. Like, my son will close his eyes and still scream whenever they're shampooing his hair. My daughter will literally just eyes wide open, let the soap like drip through her eyes, and like, I don't care, do it again. Like, you're psycho. Like,
you have to watch out for that one.
Yeah, I do. She's
more shampoo. Like the way it burns. Whoa.
Like, what?
So I'm mostly out of the shower routine with the kids. Ronan, I don't have to physically do everything for him. You just kind of have to be around to remind him, hit all the hot spots, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Until recently, again, whenever he has cuts on his knee, especially because boys, I mean, that's what they do. They cut up their knees at a certain age nonstop. If he's got boo-boos, he's terrified of the water and soap hitting it, and he doesn't want to scrub it. You have to dab around it, and he's terrified to do it himself. So if his legs are cut up or he has a cut on his knee, I have to do it, which recently is all the time.
Yeah,
there's always a scratch. So he's like, Dad, you need to do it for me.
No,
like,
see, my stepdad
kind of pat around it.
My stepdad was like, "Oh, I gotta bathe you." When I tell you, so this man had hands as big as mine,
shaking your head, and
he would get the rag, and he would like lightly lather it up, and then just like he would grab your head with one hand, had the rag in the other hand, and it would be like, and we're light skinned, so we would come out red all over. My mom was like, "What did you do to them?"
There's a layer of skin.
I bathed him. What are you talking about?
We've been in a crunch for time.
Real quick.
Yeah, we've been in a crunch for time where everybody had a shower real quick for going somewhere. And then, I'll take charge, especially of Ronan, the other ones, they got it. But when you're doing the speed shower, it's almost like that. Because you go to do their hair and you're like, and they're like,
that's funny.
So I bust my chin here. There's a huge scar. Like meat was coming out.
Ooh.
And my stepdad was like, alcohol, spray, rag, ice, go back outside. I mean, like meat. I still have, I can't grow beard here.
That's fantastic.
That's how bad it was. My mom comes home hours later and I'm like, look at this. And she's like, why didn't you call 911? Why didn't you get butterfly stitches? Like, what?
You might need a couple stitches there.
Yeah. He was like, toughen up. Get the dirt out later.
Yeah. Rub a little spit on it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool deal. So that's pretty much how we wrap this up. It's, I guess, him going back to his tent.
This gotta be the shortest ever. He goes back to the tent. Aviend is there sleeping.
Yep.
Fake sleeping. And she rolls over and she's like, "Hey, Big Daddy, have a good night." And she rolls back over. That right there is what got me. Like, either she was just really upset, or
he slammed the door in her face. I mean, I could.
She's tired because she's pregnant.
That was gonna be.
I was about to say, have you been around a pregnant woman a lot? But you're gonna find out soon.
I have been around quite a few, so I do know.
And every single one is different, so I don't want to overgeneralize. Well, actually, for one woman, every child she has, every pregnancy is different, so it's all different. But I've gone through the one where it was just total lack of energy, just sloth-like, and you've already noticed, Aviend is not really in the mix as much.
No, she's not.
Right.
And then we run into her here and she's already sleeping, not, up waiting for Rand and trying to get in his business or nothing. Like, she's more focused on taking care of this child. So she's able to let Rand go a little bit.
You guys are convinced she's preggers.
I'm just trying to decide if it's twins or just like a baby. Like, I don't know yet. I mean, what kind of food is she craving? Do we know that yet? Is she doing that vegetable curry crap or like what?
I'm gonna wait for the announcement, but I'm right there with you. I thought it too, but I know how Jordan likes to play with our mind. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting for the actual
the conversation is actually gonna be, Rand. I don't know how to tell you this, but You need to get yourself tested.
No, you know what's really gonna happen?
you weren't my
Min's
first.
gonna get there and she's gonna look at Avienda. She's like, oh, that's the third woman.
Yep. And she's preggers.
And there's gonna be a little baby floating around her head.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have like a dragon around it or something. Nah, I'm making up the symbols. But
so anything else from these chapters?
Nah, man.
This is the shortest episode we've ever done.
It might be. Favorite character?
Rand.
It
has amazing jokes.
No, for the opposite reason, no. His jokes are horrible. Rand, in fact, any other time that I claim Rand, like I retract that because his joke was so bad, he doesn't even deserve a previous shout out.
That's how we know you're not from the Two Rivers.
Not even funny. Shit, I'd give it to the rooster before I gave it to him.
The rooster
I would.
The tree. That's a smart rooster.
Gosh, I'd want to give it a Rand. I'll go Taim. Okay. I can't really point to it, but before I was thinking, oh, this is a Forsaken, but like he might actually. I won't say win me over, but like even when I know it's from Rand's perspective, it would have been better if we were in Taim's head when this conversation was happening. But when Rand was like, oh, and watch out if they're learning too quick because Forsaken might enter the camp, and Taim was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? So he's showing signs of like maybe not knowing how serious all of this is.
We did skip
which if he was Forsaken, he would know, right?
We skipped over one part, but we need to bring it back up.
What's
Rand
that?
still thinks Asmodean got away.
Okay.
Does he?
He did. He even made the statement in that very same conversation. He thought to himself, I definitely will not let on to, it would be a shame for others to figure out that I had a Forsaken in my midst and then he managed to get away. If I ever see Asmodean again,
I didn't catch
won't make that same mistake.
Is that accurate?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know how I missed that, but
there's that fear too that Asmodean could still be there, but he could have.
Well, Rand never did see him die. We saw Asmodean die from his perspective.
Yeah.
From
Asmodean's perspective. He could still suspect that Asmodean's there and just change figures, and it's like,
somehow got enough of his powers back to be able to. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, who's the one that had the hold on him?
Lanfear, but she tied it off.
Who killed Asmodean? Oh, who had the?
She tied it off, but then when she went into the other universe, maybe his powers like did return, but he was so,
No, he got zonked by somebody.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was so committed at that point to Rand, because I feel like when she did end up going into whatever other world she's in, like maybe her spell no longer had the hold on him that it had.
Okay.
Yeah, or could have loosened some.
Yeah. I mean, at least maybe that's Rand's thought, because again, Rand has no idea what happened. Even
right. From Rand's perspective, I can believe he might be considering all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I didn't mention this in the beginning. Next time we have guests next week.
Hey.
So it's going to be a very, very fun week because we are going to be doing 2 chapters. I'm going to do the chapter titles first, and I'll tell you who the guests are. So the chapter titles are, let me get that pulled up. It is A Different Dance and Threads Woven of Shadow.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then our guests are none other than Gus and Allie from the Wheel Takes.
Yay! Oh, it's been a while. This would be great.
It's been a while. It's going to be fun. So
prepare yourself for a 4-hour bender.
And then say hi to Allie when we get on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I still think that has the record for longest episode.
It was the first time.
That was such a good time when we had them.
I think I'll take that Wednesday off.
I know. I'm thinking about it.
Thinking about calling in now.
We were just awarded a day that we can use for a cultural day. So
there you go.
I guess Juneteenth, that was supposed to be the day it's used for, but you can use it whenever you want. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of
fun having them.
Yeah, a lot of places are closed for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, should be fun. I am excited to have the wheel takes on next week. Should be a good time had by all. So, what do you guys think about the chapter titles? A different dance and threads woven of shadow.
Different dance. Who do we know that likes to talk about dancing? The IEL.
Dial. Well, yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe we get into some of Rand's actual plan behind the smoke and mirrors.
But you know who
Okay.
also dances? The Tuathalan.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it could be them.
Okay.
So
maybe we start getting
can-
into the Shido plot, like what they're trying to do now that they've been run off.
Could be. Yeah. That would be a good chapter.
Yeah. Because now we have bad Aiel. Or bad, in air quotes, Aiel that's working against what we're trying to get done here.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, maybe so. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? And Chris, I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, clearly you're not a like spokesperson or anything like that.
Yeah.
So maybe there's no answer to this. But like, so being in the military now, this weekend I have a 4-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the go-to way to recognize this weekend? Is this a barbecue weekend? Is this like do I just call up my people I grew up with and be like, hey, how's it going? Like, what is the appropriate way to? Is there appropriate greeting?
Appropriate way to celebrate Juneteenth in general?
Yeah. I mean, are you invited to the cookout? Did anybody invite you? If you're not invited to cookout, you don't have to worry about it, man.
No, yeah. I didn't get invited. I mean, I got invited, but they told me do not bring your potato salad. So no, I don't.
I mean, you know,
we don't want the raisins, man.
So I look at it from the perspective of, though it's been something recognized in the Black community for a very long time, it hasn't really been mainstream. I don't know if you know this, but they have done a Juneteenth event downtown Newport News for years.
Yeah, and in Richmond.
And so yeah, yep. I mean,
so I've always been aware of it.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know if this will sound weird, but like, it was never something there's nothing I was invited to or included in. It was very much something that community celebrated.
I'll be honest,
and for a while seemed to appreciate to have that moment of recognition kind of on their own.
As an uptown mixed kid, it wasn't even in my purview until I was in my 20s. And that's because historically, unless you had really grandparents and great grandparents that were teaching you history, you didn't know about it.
Sure.
I mean, it really doesn't show up in history books. It's not really heavily discussed unless you grew up in a more prominent Black community.
Sure.
And, you know, we know downtown Newport News, though it is what it is today, used to be military housing and used to have more upscale Black people.
Sure.
And so they celebrate. I mean, the streets are even named after famous Black people. So it was celebrated there. But if you continue uptown into Williamsburg, you had your poor Black people, and it really wasn't as noted. Sure. So it's more ingrained in a culture where where the people had a richer history.
Yeah.
And so like here in Charlotte, you see a lot going on. There are plays, there are festivals, there's food, there's the Do-Rag Fest, because they also tied in with Pride, and they kind of take all of these things that weren't recognized at one point and kind of mashed it all together. And now that they're being individually recognized, people are really trying to figure out what this space looks like, because it is an Independence Day. It is really the marking of the last group of slaves in America, you know,
right?
Recognizing that they're free, minus the fact that we know that there was still an additional 20 years where people could be enslaved.
Yeah.
By law in certain states. But this is the last state to find out that the Civil War was really over and that these people were supposed to be free. So I do think the traditional Black moments are always a cookout. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, Black Southern soul food is, you know, black slave food, and so that's probably the best thing to do is to, like you said, go find a cookout, some fried chicken, some collard greens, some mac and cheese, and enjoy yourself.
And it's equally
Cornbread.
awesome, the food side and the social side. I've certainly with friends and even neighbors in the neighborhood I grew up on been invited to even some of their big family stuff and whatever. So it's always a fun experience, but nothing, like I said, like specifically related to this weekend and like what we're supposed to be recognizing by this day off, right? So yeah, I was just curious what your thoughts were.
Yep.
Cool.
So
hey, I'll do it with a barbecue and hanging out with some good people.
Exactly, and that's what it's really all about.
and
go
talking
and
and learning
loved.
and loving. Yeah, yep. I'm good at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just won't bring my potato salad with raisins in it.
No.
Nope.
Don't do that.
Nobody wants that. green bean casserole.
Yeah, I do not put raisins in my potato salad.
The ice.
Yeah, right. Look, I'll bring all the ice. It'll be.
Let the grandmas whose arms hang down here do all the cooking.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the
anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what? Okay, sorry. I know Alan's trying to wrap this up, but you know what I love? So you mentioned like the older generation, the aunties, whatever, doing the cooking. Do you know how you compliment them? You don't go up to them and tell them, "Hey, that was delicious." You ask for seconds and thirds, and after you have that third helping, they'll see your plate getting empty, and they'll be like, "You want some more sugar?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." And they love it. Love it. They just want to feed you, and I just want to eat
until you fall asleep.
I know, right? If you're napping after the fourth plate, they're like, "My job is done."
Next thing you know, you're in a coma, and you wake up, you're at a spades table, and I mean that's
exactly.
Happening. You're like,
oh, it's about to go down. All right, I'm officially done.
So yeah,
I've got
yeah. So how we can be found is at thewillreads.com. That's our website, has links to everything there. It is new and improved, and you can find everything there. Links to our Discord to join that, all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, where we record live. So come join us weekly if you're caught up. Yeah, we're on YouTube, so come join us. And also support us. You can support us by just watching us or listening to us. Also, just by merch. We do have merchandise. We have added new things to that and have more things that we will add. So recently we've added stuff. We have more stuff that will eventually get added. But yeah, keep checking out the merch store if you have anything that you want to buy there. Greatly appreciate that. And then Patreon. Probably the best way to support us is through Patreon. It's just a great way for you to give to us. Whether it's just pledging for 1 month and canceling, that's fine. Or if you want to continue a monthly pledge, and support us in different ways. It helps things like buy cool cameras and mics and lighting. And if I remember to plug in the right microphone. But yeah, so that's it's all good things. So it helps with all the giveaways as well. So yeah, think about supporting us, and that's all I got for this week. So
until next time,
peace.
Okay, bye.
Fireworks too, Ian. Fireworks.